Let's go Lions! The week is flying by and today I have 3 pieces of news to share with you. Let's start by talking about one of the little-known battles that have been going on in training camp, the competition for the Sam backup linebacker spot. We all know that Derrick Barnes has that starting spot locked up, no doubt about it. But here's the thing, finding a reliable backup for that role has been a challenge for our coaching staff. Before we continue, make sure you've hit the like button if you believe the Detroit Lions will make it to the Super Bowl this season. If you'd like, comment like this, "I trust Dan Campbell." Early in training camp, it looked like we'd see a solid competition between James Houston, who we know is a third-year edge defender with some serious potential, and Matthew Betts, a CFL standout. But that changed a bit last week. Coach Dan Campbell mentioned recently that they've started to scale back Betts' reps at Sam, which raised some eyebrows. And now, it seems like they're doing the same with Houston. That's got some implications, so let's unpack that. Campbell said on Monday that Houston has been dealing with some injuries, and because of that, they're leaning toward moving him back to his more natural position as a defensive end. In Campbell's words, "We're going to try to get him back to more defensive end, and let him play that true position where that's what he's in. He's setting the edge, where he's rushing the passer." Now, if you've been paying attention to how the Sam linebacker position works, you know it's no easy task. It demands a unique skill set. A player needs to be able to rush the passer like a defensive end, but also drop into coverage like an off-ball linebacker. It's a hybrid role, and not everyone is cut out for it. Barnes fits the bill perfectly because of his experience as a defensive end in college, which has only enhanced his ability to develop as an off-ball linebacker over the last 3 seasons here in Detroit. Houston, on the other hand, has always been more of a pass-rushing specialist. We saw flashes of brilliance from him at Jackson State, and he was a menace in his rookie season with us, racking up 8.0 sacks in just 7 games. But when it comes to playing the Sam linebacker role, Houston has struggled to make that transition. It's not for lack of trying. Even back in his Florida Gators days, he had a hard time breaking into the starting lineup when they tried to play him off the ball, and that's a challenge that's followed him into the NFL. A couple of weeks ago, Campbell addressed this, saying, he knows he's got to be able to handle the Sam linebacker position for us. It's all about consistency. We need to be able to trust that he's going to do what he needs to do, that whatever defense we call, he's going to handle it mentally, and we can trust that. From what we're seeing now, it looks like the coaching staff isn't quite there yet with Houston's development at Sam. But here's the silver lining, if moving him back to defensive end means he can focus on being the pass-rushing force we know he can be, that might actually be the best move for everyone involved. But here's where things get tricky, and I'm sure some of you are already thinking about this. Who steps up as the backup Sam? The Lions have been giving some reps to undrafted rookie Isaac Ukwu, who's been making a name for himself at camp, and there's also Jack Campbell, our starting Mike linebacker, who has some experience at Sam from last season. With camp winding down and the season rapidly approaching, don't be surprised if we see a few more players get a shot at this role over the next month. So, Lions Nation, what do you think? Should the team continue to experiment with different players at the Sam position, or is it time to bring in someone new who can solidify that spot? And how do you feel about Houston shifting back to defensive end? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this conversation going. It feels like we've been talking about this ever since Josh Reynolds walked away in free agency. The question on everyone's mind was, who's going to step up and fill that WRX role? Here we are, 3 weeks into training camp, and the answer? Well, it's still up in the air, and that's putting it lightly. Just when we thought things couldn't get murkier, we got hit with a curveball. Antoine Green, who was taken in the 7th round in 2023, got injured and then waived. That's a tough break, no doubt. And now, the Lions are in a bit of a bind. Coach Dan Campbell didn't hold back when he talked about the situation on Monday evening. You could tell he was getting frustrated, and honestly, who could blame him? Campbell put it out there, saying, "We're waiting for somebody to step forward. We're waiting for any one of those guys to step forward." Donovan Peoples-Jones, DPJ, I felt like has been, since the game, much better. He's playing faster and I notice it. We all notice it. So that's encouraging. Doris, Fountain and Traquan, Smith, and Caden Davis, we're dying for somebody to step up and say, "Hey man, I'm the guy." I'm the guy you can depend on. I'll be the same consistent player every day and find a way to make the plays that come my way. That's a pretty strong call to action, but you know, that's Campbell for you. He's not going to sugarcoat it. And here's the kicker, Monday's practice wasn't exactly filled with highlights. Doris Fountain, who's been getting first-team reps, had 2 pretty rough drops. One of them should have been an easy touchdown in a red zone drill. Donovan Peoples-Jones? He's been showing off in one-on-one drills, pulling in some big catches. But when it comes to team drills, that magic seems to disappear. Now, before we get too down on the situation, let's talk about a guy who's been rock solid, Kalif Raymond. He's one of the most reliable players on this roster. No question, he's making the team, and Ben Johnson, our offensive coordinator, has made it clear that Raymond's going to play a big role in the offense. But there's a catch. Johnson also mentioned that they're looking for a bigger body at that X position, and that's not exactly Raymond's game. But here's something interesting, Raymond's been getting more time with the starters lately. The trade-off? It means moving Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the slot, which, let's be honest, isn't where you want him to be. St. Brown is a beast in the slot, and that's where he can do the most damage. But if nobody steps up to claim that X spot, the Lions might not have a choice but to shuffle things around. So, what do you think, Lions fans? Are we looking at a situation where the answer is already on the roster, and they just need more time? Or are we in trouble here? Should Brad Holmes be looking outside the team for some help? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Alright, Lions fans, you won't believe this incredible story that just came out of Grosse Pointe. Picture this, a 15-year-old named John Agnello is out fishing in St. Clair Shores, just enjoying a summer day, when suddenly, he spots something terrifying. An elderly woman, driving along Lakefront Park, accidentally plunges her car into the water. Now, John could have panicked, but instead, this kid, wearing none other than an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey, springs into action like a true hero. John sees what's happening, and without a second thought, he jumps into the water. Remember, he's just 15 years old, but that didn't stop him. He swims over to the sinking car, and with incredible determination, he smashes the window with a rock he found nearby and pulls the woman out, saving her life. And yes, all of this while repping his Lions pride with that number 14 jersey. Now, here's where it gets even better. Word of John's bravery spread quickly, and it wasn't long before it reached the ears of the sun god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Imagine St. Brown's reaction when he heard that this young man saved someone's life wearing his jersey. Someone sent it to me, and it was like, did you see what just happened? He just saved a lady that was drowning, in your jersey. I was like, no way. St. Brown said on Monday at the Lions training camp. He was clearly moved by John's courage and the connection they now share through that jersey. But St. Brown didn't just stop at words. He wanted to make sure John knew how much his actions meant. So, he invited John to the Lions training camp, where he was honored in front of the team. And get this, St. Brown gifted John a brand new jersey with his autograph and threw in 4 tickets to the Lions season opener against the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. Can you imagine what that must have felt like for John? From saving a life to meeting his hero, it's the kind of story that makes you proud to be part of this Lions community. But let's take a moment to reflect on what this really means. John Agnello's story is more than just a headline, it's a testament to the character and spirit that defines One Pride. This young man's bravery and quick thinking in a life-or-death situation embody the values we all strive to live by. And the fact that he did it while wearing that Lions jersey? It's like fate brought it all together in the most incredible way. So, Lions fans, I've got to ask, what do you think about this? How does John's story inspire you? And what do you think it says about the kind of culture we're building here in Detroit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. This is what it means to be One Pride.